ये क्लास है हरी, आई रिक्वेस्ट यू हरी, ओके।
रुको एक मिनट, इसके बाद मुझे लिखने के बाद ना मुझे ना मीटिंग आईडी भेज के रखो, ठीक है?
ओके डन
भेजेंगे
ओके।
अभी
हरी
भेज के रखो।
लेटर ऑन,
क्या लिखो
later on, okay. Sorry, yeah. Now we talk about assumptions of diminishing marginal utility. What was diminishing marginal utility was consumer attains satisfaction. First unit gives him the highest level of satisfaction, and as he consumes additional units, the marginal utility keeps on declining, right? As the number of units increases, marginal utility keeps on declining. What is marginal utility? Additional satisfaction that he derives by consuming one additional unit of the commodity. So now basically when we say any theory, this was law of diminishing marginal utility. Whenever you write a theory, you should give credit to the person who propounded it, right? And then we have to talk about the theory. Then we have to talk about the assumptions. And then we talk about the criticisms in the theory. So now what are the assumptions in this theory? What did they assume? They said that cardinal measurement, it is assumed that utility can be measured and consumers can express them in quantified terms, right? Utility was quantified here. Utility, which was an abstract term, was quantified and then expressed, right? And they also gave a monetary measurement to it. We also said we will give a monetary measurement. Do you recall? We said 1 util equal to 2 rupees and so on. And then we said consumption is reasonable, consumption of a reasonable quantity. See, you cannot keep on consuming. A person who's thirsty will consume until his thirst is quenched. And beyond that, if at all he drinks water or if he drinks any liquid to quench his thirst, it will give him satisfaction, but at a diminishing rate, which could even go up to negative. So rational amount of consumption is assumed. And then it has to be reasonable also. So we talk about rationality in this aspect. Now, when you talk about continuous consumption, see, we always talk that consumption is a continuous process. If it is ice cream, you continuously consume. Oranges, you continuously consume. Morning, evening, whatever. But the highest satisfaction will be compared. We say that first unit gives the highest satisfaction. How did you decide on that? You arrived at a mechanism where you said you will compare it with the subsequent units. So therefore, there is a comparison possible when there is continuous consumption of any particular commodity. Comparison is possible when you are continuously consuming 1 unit, 2 unit, and so on. So first unit is compared with the second unit's, first unit satisfaction is compared with the second unit with the third unit, and so on. And then it was also said that there is no change in the quantity. First unit may, if you get 20 grams, second unit also you will get 20 grams only. So therefore there is no change in the quantity. Are you clear here? Both of you?
Yeah.
And we say it is he is a rational consumer. Matlab everything else is normal with him, right? And he is trying to maximize his satisfaction only, no other goals attached. Are you following? Like cost cutting or whatever. It is only maximizing his satisfaction. And again, independent utility. When we say marginal utility of one commodity has no relation with marginal utility of another commodity. Matlab, see, he may consume oranges and have satisfaction. He may consume ice cream and have satisfaction at a different level, right? So they are not comparable. They are both independent. Are you following? Two different commodities, two different sets of utilities. So they both are independent of each other. Say you go to a park, play. You go to a shop, buy a pen. Both of them give you satisfaction. But you don't compare. I had more satisfaction by playing in the park. You're not comparing that with the satisfaction you derive by buying a pen. Are you following here? Are you following? When you have
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
more
yes.
than one good, you are not comparing the satisfaction with each other. They both give you different amount of satisfaction, different levels of satisfaction, and both are independent of each other. And again, marginal utility of money again remains same. Whenever the consumer spends money, he is left with lesser money of commodity, lesser money to spend on other commodities. Matlab, money jo hai, it is always dearer to him. Whatever he buys, 100 rupees में आइसक्रीम खरीदेगा, 80 रुपया में ये आइसक्रीम खरीदेगा. But then when he consumes another ice cream, he will have lesser money to spend. Obviously, he will say that I spent more money. So money is more dearer to him than any other commodity. This is an assumption that he makes, right? Money is more precious to me than any other commodity that I consume. Dearer means precious, right? And again, fixed income and fixed prices, we say that whenever we talk about economics, we talk about something called as ceteris paribus or other things remaining same. See, like for example, I'll do it. Ceteris paribus, which means that this term means other things remaining constant or same. Matlab, see, whatever he consumes at the same level of income, at the same level of price, he is going to consume. Are you following? Whatever he is buying, it is going to be bought at the same level of price or at the same level of income. Following? Class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah, ma'am.
yeah. And then he also has a perfect knowledge of the commodity that he is consuming and the income level that he can spend. If I can spend only 1,000 rupees on ice cream, I will spend only 1,000 rupees on ice cream. And I know it is the best ice cream that I can get, right? So I know the product well. I know the income level at which I can spend, the level of income that I can spend on this ice cream. On all these things, I have perfect level of knowledge. These are the assumptions of diminishing marginal utility. Now we did see this law of marginal utility. If you remember, we did see the schedule because this was, I think, sent to me earlier than the assumptions. It follows a sequence. What sequence? Whenever you talk about a theory, you're going to name the theory properly. Law of diminishing marginal utility. You give credit to the author. You state the assumptions. Then you explain the theory with a schedule and a diagram as far as possible. And then you state its criticisms. Are you following? That is the way you write a theory. Economics, whenever you write a theory, you are going to write theories name, okay, properly without any error. Credit to the say person, or I would say expert, right? Expert who propounded the theory. And then point number 3. 1, 2, I would say assumptions, right? 4, theory with schedule or table. This is called as schedule. And graph if possible. Okay. Wherever applicable, 5. And then criticisms. 6. Conclusion. Right? So this sequence you have to follow whenever you write a theory. Some areas this cannot be done, like you cannot depict it with a graph or you cannot depict it with a table, some of the theories. So there you can leave it. Otherwise, this is the sequence when you write an economic theory. In the exam also, in case they ask you, write the law of diminishing marginal utility. If you follow this sequence, it will be very, very ideal. Clear? So let me proceed. So now we also discussed about consumer equilibrium in brief. Any consumer wants to have maximum satisfaction. Whenever consumer consumes, it is with the motto of want satisfying, right? But then he wants to have the maximum satisfaction possible within the limited income and has no tendency to change his way of expenditure. I don't want to spend more. Jitna paisa hai, usme maximum satisfaction, I will do it. That is what he is trying to do. So what the consumer here has, he has to pay a price. We said last time, he is going to discount it for the money that he pays. So this is what we are going to see. If I buy an ice cream, I will have to pay for it. So I will discount the satisfaction for the money. Itna paisa ke liye I get so much satisfaction. Ice cream is tasty. Ambience is very good. But how much did I pay for it? That's what he is going to talk about, right? So he cannot consume unlimited quantity, and as per law of diminishing marginal utility derived, and it is going to be decreasing at subsequent units, right? Even see in a normal scenario, if you see, supposing you buy a furniture for your house, the first furniture is going to give you maximum satisfaction. As you go on adding to the stock of furnitures at home, the last piece of furniture will have ultimately almost zero or negative satisfaction, right? So this is going to be the case. So any rational consumer is going to have a balance between the expenditure, because you will think, why did I spend on this sofa set so much when I already have a divan, I have a bed, everything else. I could have avoided this, correct? So he is going to think in terms of money. When he gets the maximum satisfaction with the minimum possible expenditure, he is the maximum satisfied, right? And he does this, so he is said to be at equilibrium. Are you following here? Maximum satisfaction at minimum expenditure, minimum cost incurred, is called as consumer equilibrium, where your maximum satisfaction and minimum expenditure point meet on the graph. That is your satisfaction point. Are you following? Are you following?
Yeah.
So now we are going to talk about two different scenarios where a consumer is going to spend on a single commodity. He's going to spend his income only on one commodity, and then he's going to spend on two different commodities. Till now, what did we see? Till now we were saying what is consumer, who's a consumer, and what does he do, why does he do, right? And then we spoke about ordinal and then cardinal utility. We just had what it was. So we are still talking about cardinal utility, which is Marshallian. And he said utility or satisfaction can be measured in absolute numbers. This is an abstract concept, but he has converted it. He has made it measurable in terms of utils. So we saw what is utility. And then we spoke about two concepts, namely total utility and marginal utility. And then we plotted a schedule. We saw it graphically how marginal utility declines. And total utility also declines when marginal utility declines, right? Otherwise, total utility goes on increasing, but total utility never is negative. Whereas marginal utility at one point of time can become negative, right? So, and then we spoke about, yes.
Why can't total utility be a negative?
Concept wherein with the amount of consumption, you get some amount of satisfaction. Whereas marginal utility is comparison of the current satisfaction, current unit satisfaction with previous unit satisfaction. right?
Yeah, but why can't total utility be negative? Because see,
Almost
suppose
negative it can go to. It will never go to negative. Because total utility is something you are deriving, na? Almost negative it can reach, but it cannot.
deriving negativity, if you're deriving like sadness or whatever.
Sorry.
If you're deriving something bad from, so you get tired of a product, right?
Correct.
And
When you get
then
that.
you don't want to consume it.
Right.
That's when marginal utility goes into negatives.
Correct.
So if you get enough negatives in the marginal utility, eventually the total utility will also go into negatives, right?
We say that it touches negative, but then it never goes to negative. That's how we keep talking about it. Practically, from
How
what
does
you say,
it
I mean,
go to
conceptually, you are right. It can pull down, but beyond that, we talk about a rational consumer, right? When you see the assumptions, we talk about rational consumer. Rational consumers won't
Okay.
pull it down to that negative level. See,
So we're just
practical
assuming that
perspective, you are right. Economics perspective, this is how it works. Getting me?
Yeah.
What about you, Maitri? I'm sorry, Maitri.
Yeah. I also had a question.
Yeah. Please.
Is it possible for marginal utility to increase? So we know that marginal utility will always decrease because of the law. But
See,
is there any case where it increases?
Okay. Marginal utility as with successive units declines. Marginal utility of the first is the maximum because see, uske aage to satisfaction nahi hota hai. So that is the maximum point. It has increased from 0 to first unit. Maximum reach hua hai. थोड़ा gradually increase हो सकता है, then it starts falling. Successive unit में कम होते जाएगा आपको. Maybe even see, that is practical aspect. When I give you one, if you're fond of oranges, I will give you one orange, you'll happily have it. Second orange, you will happily have it, but slight lesser satisfaction, correct? This is an abstract concept that he has quantified. Marshall has quantified this concept. Are you getting me?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, satisfaction thoda kam hoga. So there is no chance that marginal utility will increase. Yes.
So our teacher was telling us that in the Madhya, someone else had also asked a question. And I remember her telling that there are certain exceptions, like rare cases. So stuff like alcohol, so the more you consume, the more you get, satisfaction you get. Or
Again,
recreational drug.
Alcohol also, the first unit, that amount of satisfaction. See, again, it doesn't hold good for a rational consumer. Na? Alcohol is your intoxicating. Your intoxication level becomes more. Satisfaction level is a different concept altogether.
Yeah, but
I don't know, but I may not agree with that. She may be right.
Okay.
Are you getting me? Maitri?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So if you see, marginal utility from the second unit is going on decline. So we discussed these two concepts. See, it may increase initially, that do not do this thing, right? And again, it will start declining gradually, right? So again, when you say there is no indication about fall of marginal utility, the law of diminishing says nothing about the rate in the decline, at what rate it declines. It may decline faster, it may decline slowly because it is basically a psychological concept. It is not a practically derived concept where we attach numerical value. And as we said, satisfaction levels of two individuals are two different concepts totally. Your satisfaction level is different from mine. And the products I like, you may not like, right? So it depends again. That is one thing. And again, when you talk about what else did we see? We saw the law of diminishing marginal utility, how it works with the help of all these concepts that we discussed. We saw what is the theory about. Then we spoke about its assumptions. We had 10 assumptions to discuss. And we demonstrated it with a schedule. Even before we discussed the assumption, we demonstrated it with a schedule. And then we gave diagrams also. We demonstrated this was plotted in a graph and demonstrated. Then we spoke about what is consumer equilibrium, where we talk about minimum amount paid to derive maximum satisfaction. So where we measured the concept in monetary terms, concept of satisfaction, right? So as per the law of diminishing marginal utility, whatever we derive at successive unit is going to be lesser, the marginal utility. So till here we discussed, we were about to see two scenarios where the consumer spends his entire income on a single commodity and the consumer is going to spend it in between two commodities.